Hello. Welcome to all my combo lords. This is my second attempt at a stream tonight. Our first stream went wrong in multiple ways. I burnt myself on a candle pretty bad. Not on a candle itself. The candle wax, that won't drip on you and cause too much pain or anything. But the exterior of this shell that I dropped somewhere around here that I'm going to have to pick up the glass in a second because I think it shattered. That stream, I also, unfortunately, the first portion, had to unlist for a moment because I don't want to get in trouble from YouTube because I'm trying to run all the tech on this. And while I was fiddling with the candle and burning myself, the stream was playing one of my videos, and now YouTube stops doing ad blockers, so the video played an ad, and so there's the noise of an ad, and YouTube gets mad if you use other people's audio. So I'm gonna have to see what I can do with the last stream. I'll cut out the bit where I burned myself and post that in some form, but it's unlisted for now. That's why I have an ice pack on my fingers, because you're not going to be able to see it yet, but I believe by the end of this stream, this middle finger is going to have quite a large blister on it, because you see that whiter part right there? That's where it got burned a bit ago. Now, the candle itself didn't do it, and it's so ironic because the next main combo class episode I'm going to be putting out has so many different fire scenes in it. I filmed some of it at night, and we had so much rare fire moments, and I didn't hurt myself on a single of the insane fire things you're going to see in a day or two on the combo class channel in the next main episode. However, this right here, somehow I burnt myself in the stream just trying to move a candle's glass exterior somewhere else so I could use a candle to look for more candles. So no candles in today's stream. We just have the computer brightness very high. I know you're not going to be able to see all of our cool clocks that luckily are stopped so we don't have to daylight savings them. But, you know, we're going to not do candles for today because one burn is enough for now. I always hurt myself in the combo class in the most unexpected ways. It's never like the big, crazy looking moment you guys think, because those moments are well calculated. It's always some silly side thing that I wasn't calculating, like grabbing a glass thing. I'll try and maybe we'll look at that clip later in this stream in case the rest of that stream doesn't get reposted when I actually burnt the finger and shattered stuff. But in any case, the main content and the reason I'm doing this stream tonight is because of a different coincidence. Not the coincidence that the next episode I'm making, coming out soon on the combo class channel, involves fire, and I separately burnt myself on a much smaller fire here. A coincidence that the previous episode I made on that channel came out right before a mathematical paper came out on a very similar topic. The previous episode I made discussed the game theory of tic-tac-toe, Connect 4, and chess, and, well, another game I may have mentioned is this one called Othello. And to anyone who was around for the last stream, I'm sorry if this is repetitive, but I will do a really quick, I'll try and make it different this time, a really quick refresher on the rules of Othello for anyone just joining this. This is a really simple game, and I love simple games, ones that have simple rules yet complex strategy. This was in fact solved for smaller board sizes, and a 4x4 had been proven to be a second player win. A 6x6 had been proven to be a second player win, but the 8x8 was not proven until this new paper, which is not fully peer-reviewed, but does come from a reputable source. So we're not 100% sure about it, but it does seem quite likely, and we're going to look through it in a minute. To quickly explain the rules of this, though, you have these double-sided pieces, and you can flip them if you sandwich your opponent, and that's pretty much the only move you do. You put down a piece of your color, and if it's surrounding some amount, then you get them. If I go here, then I get that one diagonal. If I go here, I get that. Oh, wait, no, I can't go there because that doesn't sandwich. I go here, sandwiches one. If I go, sometimes you can get a double, you know. multiple at once. Like, here I get a few in a line at once as white. If black went... Like, black doesn't have that many options here. Black went there. Now, white could go, like, there and get all these, but then black could also go there and get all these. Sometimes you flip a lot in one go. You can also get multiple, like, if white happened, I'm just resetting it up, if we happen to be, like, here, and I went here, I would sandwich that way and sandwich that way. So, the game can flip a lot, and you end up counting the amount of pieces you have once neither player can move, which is typically when the board's full, sometimes if neither player can move before that. And so, for this game to be a tie, it doesn't mean, like, neither player achieved a 4 in a row like Connect 4. It means the players had the exact same amount of pieces when it ended. And so, it's sort of surprising that you would have a tie be an answer for one of the board sizes, especially when the 4x4 and the 6x6 were proven to be second player wins. Because player winning could be so many different types, 40 to 30, 41 to 35, 28 to 20, and it stalls out early. I mean, well, not the 40s, sorry, that adds up to too much maybe. Or, no, that would work, I guess. But, okay, there's 64 total. So, if they tie and the board fills, that's 32 and 32. And you could have, like, 33 and 31 as a win. You could have, like, 33 and 30 as a win, and they couldn't move again. You could have, like, 34 and 29 or 20. So many different options. But a tie only has one option. You have to have the same... Well, I guess you could have stalled out early and each had 31 or each had 30. I'm guessing it fills up and you each have 32 at the end. But in either case, supposedly it's been proven that the players can each force a tie. That there's some strategy tree for either player to go through this game and be able to ensure that they have the same amount of pieces as the other. Now, players would be trying for a win and hoping the others mess up. So you would actually just be ensuring that the other player doesn't have more pieces than you at the end. So, you could come out ahead or you could tie. But there is a tree that guarantees you'll pull off the tie. So, somebody said, please make them a mod. Well, I do already have some good mods. They're not always available. If somebody is a really big fan of Combo Class, I've been really bad at responding to emails and Discord messages recently because I've had a lot of personal life stuff going on. I will explain that later. But do send me an email or a Discord message if you are a big enough fan that you would like to be a mod, and then we can discuss it. Now, thank you all for joining, and in any case, chatting. People are asking if I'm okay. If you mean about the burn, yeah, it does sting. Whenever I have it on the ice, it feels normal, because it, like, balances opposites, like our next episode. We'll be discussing the philosophy and math of. But, it doesn't look that bad right now, but it's gonna look like a pretty bad blister like tonight or tomorrow, because I can just tell the way it stings and the way it's already swelling up a bit. But there's gonna be a pretty bad blister there, and it stings whenever I take it off the ice for an extended period. But it's not the end of the world. I've dealt with worse. I've had to get surgery in both of my legs. I've nearly died. Those are not exaggerations. I've been through worse. I can handle a little finger burn. Now, thank you to everyone with the random comments and stuff. We're gonna try and shrink me a bit so we can look at... Well, let's raise me so we can actually see me, and then shrink me so that we can see this paper. Now, this is written by a fella named Hiroki Takezawa, who, like I said, from what I looked up, seems like a source that wouldn't just, is a known source to be a smart guy who should be trustworthy, hopefully. that it's not double checked yet. It's very recent. It was published October 30th. This is coincidentally after my episode, just by like a day or so. When did my episode come out? My episode must have come out about that day. Now, in the previous stream, I am going to make sure it doesn't do the... Okay, I'm not even going to do it, but on the previous stream, I did show a comment I replied to. You can find this comment on my last video if you want. I'm not going to pull it back up because that's why the last stream got separated. Apart from the burn was an ad played when I played my video and da-da-da. But there's a comment on my last video that someone said you should do Othello / also known as Reversi. Reversi is a name for a more generalized thing, like any size of board, the type of game it is. And maybe we should use the term Reversi because Othello is more like the trademark brand name for this size of board and publication of it. But, you know, it's a classic enough game. I wouldn't be shocked if cavemen had played it as well. Now, with this, we're not positive that it's been solved because it's so recent. Oh, no. What I was just going to say, though, is that on the episode I made recently, somebody asked about it, and I replied that I love Othello / Reversi. I will probably make an episode about it someday. I think it's really cool. It didn't fit in the episode. I only talked about mostly Connect 4, bit of tic-tac-toe, bit of chess. Those are in the description of the video. And with these, I was gonna make an episode. I don't know if I'll still make an episode about it or not. But we are gonna look at, in this stream, this paper that was supposedly proving, which I believe is more likely than not true. We'll look through and see if we can make any guesses as to how sure we can verify any of it or whatever. But it'll get peer-reviewed before too long as well. Before too long in the future. Since this is a big enough discovery of a common enough game, there will be some peer review that will state, oh, you can show that this isn't actually proving it fully, or we did re-verify this a separate way, or anything like that. Now, looking at the actual paper, why is this sideways? How do we get this not sideways? How do we flip this? All right. So, let's read through the abstract of this. So we're not going to read the entire paper. As we can see, this is incredibly long. But we're going to look at the basics, and I will read through the full, what is known as the abstract. The abstract of the paper is essentially a synopsis of it. It says, the game of Othello is one of the world's most complex and popular games that is yet to be computationally solved. Othello has roughly 10 octodecillion, 10 to the 58th power, possible game records, and 10 octillion, 10 to the 28th power, possible game position. Now, this is weird that it just says position. Now, I'm not sure if this paper was, because it should say positions. Some of the, when I skimmed this a second ago, some of the English is a little off, but this is a foreign person. I'm not sure if they were writing an English paper as a second language or if this was translated. But in either case, you know, this should say positions grammatically, but we'll trust that even if they don't know grammar perfectly, they can still be a perfectly excellent mathematician. Perhaps it's their second language. The challenge of solving Othello, determining the outcome of a game with no mistake made by either player, has long been a grand challenge in computer science. This paper announces a significant milestone. Othello is now solved, computationally proved. that perfect play by both players leads to a draw. Strong Othello software has long been built using heuristically designed search techniques. Solving a game provides the solution, which enables software to play the game perfectly. Now, this is a different definition than we would say solving sometimes. They're talking about a strong solution here, where I guess they do clarify it. They should maybe add that they're talking about strongly solving a game. Because you could solve a game, theoretically, without knowing the branch of moves, but having some math technique that adds up to knowing if it's a draw or if either player can force a win. Now, this is an example of a board state. The numbers are the first piece placed. These first four don't have numbers because they're in an automatic starting position. They orient it like this. They say, this is, where we're going to put them. And since those are already there, they're all like piece 0. This is saying maybe player 1 went there, then player 2 went there, then player 3 went there. It looks like why are player 1 and 2 the same color? But that's because they flip later on. They're showing the end color that they ended up as at the end of the game. So, this is how they describe the game. I love it. This is the game. But yeah, this encodes the game by the coordinates, essentially. So here, they're talking about how do I get rid of this zoom thing? I don't want all these numbers. They're like trying to show me where the annotations are all bright. Go away. I want it. No. Stop. Okay, whatever. We can't stop this from having little green things. Whatever. They're talking about how chess is a game that has been often tried to solve. They're talking about weakly versus strongly solved. And they're noting that Othello, also known as Reversi, was invented in the 19th century in England. In the 20th century, the current format became widespread in Japan and is now played all across the globe. They have world championships as well. Some people say that its strategic richness relates to its vast exploration space. So there are 10 average moves in each position. At the beginning, it looks like much less, but later you have many possible moves. And an overall average of 58 moves throughout a game. The total number of possible game records can be estimated to be around 10 to the 58. And the total number of board positions estimated around 10 to the 28. These values are larger than any game that's been solved as a grand challenge. They sort of mean as one of the popular games of society, including checkers. They're basically saying that checkers does not have this many possible board states. As a result, it remained unsolved. Now we have weakly solved. Now, weakly solved means they don't have the strategy tree. They're not going to have here, this is how you win Othello. Which is good, because apparently one of the world championships might be taking place right now or around this time. So, what is that? Someone's fire alarm going off or something? Let me check if that's a fire alarm related to me somehow. Okay, folks, so that was a fire alarm, but it was my family indoors. How many fire-related things are going to happen? The next episode I'm going to put out on the Convo Class channel has a lot of fires in it, but I promise these ones you're going to see, the craziest ones yet, are safe. Somehow, in this previous stream, I burnt myself on a candle, so I have these ice packs. And then, like, on the glass thing surrounding a candle, I'm actually going to get a pretty big blister here soon. And then the smoke alarm's going off. Okay, no more fire stuff until I drop our next episode about opposites and inverses, numerically and philosophically, coming out in a day or so. And that episode does have a lot of fire in it because we filmed at night. Someone in the last stream asked, or no, at the beginning of this one, asked how my cameramen are doing. I don't know if you're still here, but my main camera guy I've been filming with, mostly Carlo, is a guy who's a friend of mine and my brother's. I actually met him as a friend of my younger brother, and I started hiring him to do some random filming in like the middle of grade -1 or so. But he had actually filmed with me before. Like, I'd known him earlier, and he had helped me film even the intro shot of the burning clock that is at the beginning of like some of the first episodes ever. Then I didn't work with him for a bit, and then started filming with him here and there, and got to get a good groove with me being Carlo's, mix of boss and friend and weird combo Domotro guy and such, and working well together on setting up the combo classroom. And so now I hire Carlo a few days a week, and he's my main camera guy. As we expand our budget and stuff, I will hopefully have a few camera people and editors and stuff helping. But right now I'm mostly using my guy Carlo, because he has gotten to know the combo classroom quite well, and I can hire him and know that he understands the vibe we're sort of aiming for and such. And the camera work on some of the main combo class episodes has been experimental and interesting. Me and him have been directing some shots in strange ways. Now, and although many of those are, directed in my brainstorms in advance, some of them are just filmed by him as fun ideas. And I also have film help from my friends, like my friend Max helped me film one of the crazy shots in last episode, and some filming help from some other friends and such. So shout out to all those people as well who get in my credits and stuff. And so camera people are doing well. They're happy with how things are going. The new combo class episodes have been getting a lot of views. I've been hitting the algorithm right. I mean, a lot of views for me, for it's a newish channel, This channel seems to have like a decent medium amount of subscribers, but those flew up because of shorts. And my actual main channel has a bit less subscribers, but we are climbing up, and the last few episodes have been doing quite well, which is awesome, because those are the ones I put my full passion into. Maybe someday we'll make a full episode about Othello, but for now, we're just going to analyze this sort of non-peer reviewed, but hopefully trustworthy enough and shall be verified as time continues, paper about Othello being proven as a draw. So here we talk about the moves. Now they're already jumping into a software that was looking at search efficiency. Now, some people talk about softwares for games. Like, I got a comment on my last video about solvability of games when I said that chess isn't solved, and they're like, "Oh, you haven't heard about Stockfish." And I looked that up, and I was like, that rings a bell. What is that again? Oh yeah, that's a chess program that is really good at chess. It has not solved chess. Some people misunderstand if there's a program that can beat a computer at a game. That doesn't mean the game's solved. That doesn't mean the computer could automatically win against any human ever because they know the exact path of moves, which is not the case for chess. However, in Othello, it does look like, although we don't know the exact tree, they have found a way to prove it, that players can force a draw. this is what they plugged into their program. So here's where I'm going to start having no ability to verify or confirm this. It's sort of just fun and interesting to see how many different ways a mathematical paper could be presented. And this one goes straight into computer programming language. This one is like you would put into a program. And it almost is reminiscent of propositional logic, because the if-then phrases, the nots and whens, these things come out of propositional logic, which I first studied from a batch of very fun books by the author Raymond Smullyan, in the form of puzzles like the liar paradox encoded in different forms. And we will do an episode with many shout outs to this fellow Raymond Smullyan about the liar paradox at some point. And the liar paradox is essentially that the statement of "this statement is false" can neither be true nor false without resulting in a paradox, showing that you cannot have a binary language that includes self-referential statements of that sort and have it be binary, that things are yeses or nos, even if they refer to completely objective yes or no sounding things, like 2 plus 2 is false, 2 plus 2 is true. Like, which one of those statements is correct? But, like, this statement is false glitches the system. And it's known as the liar paradox due to being in the form of puzzles of some people always tell the truth and some people always lie. And they say, I'm the type of person who always lies. And basically, we will go into a good version of those puzzles at some point in a liar paradox episode. This is what that reminds me of, but we're not going to be able to apply this or prove this right now. So we're getting to the point of the paper where we're sort of going to have to trust that this works for the moment. With not 100% trust, because it has not been confirmed by other mathematicians in a formal way, but that the person who wrote this, I believe, is known to be reputable. Here they say that they implemented an algorithm that requires a position with 50 empty squares and data about positions with 36 empty squares and da-da-da. So they have these algorithms that show, based on what is empty on the board and based on certain traits, some of these games even have to look at the parity, which is the even or oddness of certain things. And so, or parity can sometimes be a vaguer, more generalized form of something like evenness or oddness. And so I don't know if they're looking at that here, but I know some proofs of games look at that. So here they're looking at, like, okay, this lower bound proved this proved this. It looks like they almost really computationally brute forced certain aspects. They figured out many shortcuts as to what types of board state could lead to what. And then they, like, brute forced and tested a bunch within that. This is one of those proofs that requires a combination of a computer and a human. And we're going to actually someday do an episode about AI and robots in general and computer helped proofs and to what degree we can trust them or not. In that episode, we will mock certain AIs, like how the old Chat GPT and probably the new one still gave ridiculously false answers about math quite confidently, but also analyzing things like there's this one called the 4-color map theorem that was proven with help from a computer and is somewhat controversial in the degree to which we consider it definitely proven or not. And so here, for example, I would say if somebody has a different computer program that verifies this, that would put that closer to 100% proven than if somebody runs this same computer program on a different computer, which would still be more than if they run this same computer program on the same computer. And so there's different degrees to which we might need to multi-test to get closer to 100% sureness, which you never need to reach. We don't even say we're 100% sure on gravity, even though we're not going to start doubting gravity. You say it's 99 point some amount of 9% sureness. But to get close to that amount of nines that we can trust something, I think this proof will want to be checked by another sort of computer, or maybe a human can find another method or something. But the first step would be running this on a different computer, which probably has been done. They've probably run this on a few computers at least. I don't know though. And if anybody is a great computer programmer, they could try and run this and double check it that way. It will not perfectly prove everything, because it will prove that if this is everything, if this describes all the stuff we need to do in the proof, then the computer can brute force all the gaps. But we also will need to mathematically demonstrate that those are the gaps to fill. So, looking downward, they have more computer program stuff. Here they're noting that, okay, these are auxiliary. These are things where you don't understand the sentence unless you understand the, like, freight. The things it's talking about, it's like, okay, if I don't know what these algorithms are, this sentence doesn't really mean anything. But still, we can look at some parts of this to decode it to a degree. This paragraph looks like it may have some slightly clearer information. We solved the positions with 36 empty squares which were obtained from the above algorithm using a computer cluster in EDAX software. If the predicted value of the results was less than 30, we read with 4 cores, otherwise with 1 core. This is about like how you have to run the computer. See, this is useful for people double checking it, but I kind of wish they separated how you run the computer and the proof part of it. Maybe they'll write a clearer version of this someday. In the initial phase of the computation, we did not have confidence that the final result would be a draw, so we set the alpha beta window to this. I don't know what this means. This relates to the computer cores. The game theoretical values of the output positions can sometimes deviate from the estimations of the above algorithm. In such cases, by adding the results to D and rerunning the algorithm, more positions can be solved. This is the next algorithm. Okay, now, in order to satisfy the condition of weakly solved, we implemented a Python script that acted as a perfect, i.e. never loses player, by referring the results. The script refers the result table when there's more than 36 empty squares, and after that, it delegates EDAX to play perfectly. That is a misspelling. Like we said, it might be this guy's second language, or maybe this was even translated. It is a Japanese mathematician, I think. Somewhere in Asia, the guy lives, of this mathematician. So we're not going to judge the grammar too harshly. We're going to, trust the mathematics to a degree, despite this paper obviously needing some polishing up. So here we have some more computer programming stuff. More computer programming stuff. And the results. They have scouted all the positions that have 50 empty squares. That sounds like barely any beginning to it. When there's 50 empty squares, you've only played 16 things. And counting the first 4, you've only played 14 things. Counting those 2 players, you've only played 7 things each. But then they go forward from there. They had to... See, this is where it's a mix of brute force and math. They're like, we had to show that this was the right ones to test. And then the computer's going to test those. We're not, like... The computer can't even test all those, maybe. So the mathematician had to figure out that these were the right ones to test for this bit. And then the computer could run through those. Now, I have many cool number theory things I've invented when I'm playing around with numbers that I would love to work with computer programmers sometime. Feel free to email me if people are computer programmers, even though I have been really bad recently at getting back to emails. I will try and be better about that this month. And because I don't program computer stuff, but I'll figure out fun stuff about numbers and then hit a brick wall when I get to like 3-digit numbers and they're too hard to test my number theory thing on paper. So computer programmers, feel free to reach out. Somebody's saying that the proof seems like it doesn't really seem to say anything about the game, unfortunately. I think if we look deep enough, we would find some things about the game, but you're right that the fact that it's weakly solved and the way they phrase it shows more that they have proven a certain thing than any of the necessary ways a human would get there in the game. And that still means there's a huge amount of strategy between humans, because knowing that it could end in a tie if both players play perfectly, a tie is very rare between humans. That's usually only happens when you're 32 to 32 or 31 to 31 maybe, or maybe 30 to 30. And so, because you have to, like, neither player is able to move at a certain point. Usually it's filled up pretty much. And so the ties are still going to be pretty rare between humans, despite that being what perfect players would always reach. Because a perfect player wouldn't want to lose, so they would always strive for the best outcome. And if both players are doing that, it turns out that the first player nor second player has an advantage in terms of being able to hit that exact limit. This graph apparently relates to it. So let's see what they say their conclusions are. They say, we conclude that our study has weakly solved Othello, although we recognize that our achievement is just above the criteria of weakly solving. For certain borderline positions with 36 MD squares, EDAX requires a large amount of computation to determine the game theoretic value and the corresponding move. However, given the continuing advances in personal computers, it's reasonable to conclude that the approach requires only reasonable computational resources. By providing an additional opening book for these positions, we could further reduce the computational demand. However, to expedite our announcement, we opted against computing additional books in our study. Nonetheless, there may be interest among Othello enthusiasts for software that can determine the best move using fewer computational resources. As Figure 3 indicates, many of our calculations to weakly solve Othello were devoted to positions where, according to the estimation, there's a clear advantage in terms of winning or losing. This indicates that one cannot claim a pseudo-solution by not proving positions whose estimated game theoretic value exceeds any threshold. As Figure 3 implies, for positions that were expected to have a significant difference in scores, there were some in which a solving by EDAX took a large amount of time. It is possible that the systematic and significant errors in EDAX's function to estimate the game theoretic value from a position called static evaluation function, especially for positions unlikely to appear in actual games, are the reason for this. Okay, we're going to pause here because they're talking a lot, and they, like a commenter said, they have not said that much about the game. However, it would be a huge bound in proofs to have proven this, and very interesting if this is confirmed, and just the fact that it seems to be true, because the 4x4 was a second player win. The 6x6 was a second player win. And for the 8x8 to be a tie is so cool and interesting and weird. Now, remember, to anyone who's joined more recently, if you want to know more about, like, game theory, completely coincidentally, I put out an episode right before this happened that is about Othello-like games. It doesn't mention it, but it's about Connect 4 and checkers and chess and stuff. So check that out on the Convo Class channel or linked in the description. But let's take a moment to pause, think about the comments, and then think about Othello. With our comments, thank you all for joining me. And let me see. For some reason, someone is noting that Elon Musk sucks. Very random comment, but I do agree that guy sucks. He seemed like could have been cool with, like, interest in space and stuff, but, like, the latest thing is he was dissing Wikipedia. I love Wikipedia. We can look on Wikipedia for Othello and find all sorts of cool stuff. It's also called Reversi there, the more generalized version. He was dissing Wikipedia, probably because you're not allowed to edit Wikipedia with random propaganda and then have them not remove it. They'll remove random propaganda. So, yeah, that guy has made Twitter, or whatever he wants to call it now, into some strange sort of hellhole. Luckily, that is not the site I've ever cared about. I'm a YouTube boy at heart. I even have like a ton of followers on TikTok that I don't care about that I really should post on there again, but I like forget about it because I only care about my YouTube channels. This channel and my combo class channel and whatever other projects I make. YouTube is my favorite. So, looking at this, they note here, and Wikipedia is really good at updating new stuff too. They even say, it said somewhere here about it being solved. It might not have been on this article. It might have been on the other one. But we saw it earlier that they had already updated it. Look, the first of these... On an 8x8 board, the game results in a draw under perfect play, according to this paper. That's probably the paper we read. Yes, that's the paper we read. So look how fast Wikipedia updates it. That's cool. They already have it. The first of these proofs is relatively trivial. The second dates back here. I don't know how trusted that proof was or what that means. The last one was done here. That was the one we read for sure. This one probably relates to a smaller board size or something. So, they have championships still, and they will continue to have championships because despite, well, these ones are canceled for COVID, but they did another one in 2022. I think they're doing another one, like, maybe now or something. But they will continue to do them because it being solved, it doesn't change the fact that humans are still going to have a massively strategic time playing against each other. It's actually a quite cool game because of the simplicity of the rules and the amount of strategy. That's why they give it the tagline, "A minute to learn, a lifetime to master." And normally I wouldn't be like giving taglines to, that's like just for the brand name Othello version of Reversi, but it's a decent tagline. I think it describes the game well because it does take just a moment to learn, and it could take a lifetime to master. And I like that the rules are simpler than chess, while it is not as complex as chess. I think we could make more games that are in between. This is inching closer to a game that is beyond comprehension of humans or computers, yet very simple. It's a little too simple, a little too much on the checkers and Connect 4 end. But we need something between that and chess. Perhaps Go has some of those traits, and I will have to look more into that, like some commenters have mentioned in the past. Now, I lost the comments for some reason. Where's my chat? Why'd my chat go away? There it is. Okay. Somebody asked if I'm a self-taught mathematician. Mostly. I have taken some classes, but I did not get a formal 4-year degree or anything. I took about 2 years of college, and I went under other paths. I became a music teacher for years, and I had other YouTube channels that never took off way back in the day, and various sorts of things. And most of the math I know, I did not learn in a class. Some of it I did, of course. Classes are useful. But much of it I learned from books, and from personal investigations with numbers, and from online articles that are book-like. Now, reading and taking notes about that reading can get you quite far, and then experimenting with your own versions of testing out variations of whatever you read. And yes, there is a train in the background. Maybe we'll visit the train track someday. I would like to film there more. I don't know if I can live stream there because I tried to live stream on my phone once and it forced it to be vertical. I need to figure out how I can live stream on my phone without it forcing it vertical. I don't like vertical videos, despite my shorts being like my most popular videos. I don't like vertical videos. I like horizontal videos. I will keep making shorts because, and I have posted some recently again, and I have some new ones to post soon. But those are just fun little challenges. If I make something that I really want to have fun with, like either the prideful combo class episodes or the more casual fun live stream, I want it to be horizontal. People asked, where are the falling clocks? I think you'll get plenty of those in the next episode. Well, we already got a falling, shattering thing that burnt my hand let's look at that clip maybe, because I don't know if I'm going to post the first live stream, because it had, I unlisted it after I did the first half of this live stream, because, well, it was only like the first 20 or 30 minutes got cut off because an ad played. I'm trying to run my own tech, and let me make sure right now it's not going to do it again. I better, yeah, okay, I have it muted right now, but I had like the computer audio going, so I was able to play a stupid ad when one of my videos was playing. It's like the worst timing ever of like trying to run my own tech when I want to show one of my videos while I'm distracted by all this fire and darkness, and then while YouTube removed ad blockers. So an ad came up, and so there then yeah, that's part of the stream might not show, but we're gonna look at a really funny clip from it, because if the stream doesn't go, we're just gonna try and see the rarest clip of it. I also want to see if it even got on film or not, because I was just getting it like, ow, whenever I have my hand away from the ice, it really stings. This is going to be a really big blister. It's already swelling a bit. You see, it's already getting a blister there. That big white thing right there. That is not going to be fun tomorrow. So, let's, in any case, we can handle that. I've been through far worse pain. We're going to go and look at a very rare thing, which was the older half of the stream that I don't know if I'm going to try and cut down or not. Maybe I'll cut down part that doesn't have the ads, but this part might even have the ads, so I'm going to start with it muted. I'm going to find it first. Well, I know you can't see it. No, yeah, see an ad's playing. Oh, okay, I paused it after like 1 second. What? They're trying to kill me. They're trying to get my videos flagged by having an ad played in them. That's like, if you got punched and then the person like laughs in your face while you're getting punched, it's like when you add insult to injury. That if I have to have an ad play, nobody likes an ad. I don't like an ad. You don't like an ad. If I have to have an ad play, and then it could get my video in trouble because it's bad to have other people's audio for too many seconds in a row in your stream or video, or you could get, a notice from YouTube or whatever. So we're just going to try and find the bit where my hand burnt. Where was that? I don't even know if I got it on tape. Oh, I might have been tiny when it happened. Let me find it. Yeah, so I'll put the audio on for a second, and I'm just going to really be on the lookout for an ad this time. I'm going to be watching it. So, this is when we were talking in the last stream. And let's see where I burnt my hand. Yeah. I should put the hose on my hand for a second. Today, there is a lot of chaos around the classroom. And, ow! That was hot. Yeah. I should put the hose on my hand for a second. Okay, so, yeah, it's funny because in the episode that's coming out tomorrow of Cabo Class, or I'll try and get it out tomorrow. It's going to be out tomorrow or the next day. There is a lot of fire, but none of that fire hurt me. It was all safe. Yet, in this little stupid moment where I'm like, let's move the candle to look for more candles, because I wanted to look for more candles. Welcome to everybody who is joining me here today. There is a lot of chaos around the classroom, and ow! You can't really see it, but that was a shatter. I need to look. Is there glass all around here? Is that thing still like a shattered? Because I don't want, if a squirrel or a cat comes, I need to get the glass. Yeah, I'm running the hose on my hand for a bit, because that was actually... Oh, no, I need to pause it before there's an ad. Pause it before there's an ad. No, stop it. Okay. Okay, I don't even know what I did. I, like, stretched something weird. Did I make myself really giant? Oh, what have I done? What have I done? I accidentally made myself really massive and really small and whatever. Okay, back to normal full size for a minute. I need to look to see if that shattered thing made a lot of glass. Oh, it didn't break. That was weird. It sounded like it shattered. It must have just landed on... Maybe did it like shatter something else? It sounded like it shattered in real life and in that clip. But I guess it didn't. That thing burnt me though. My hand stings whenever it's not on the ice. Anyway, Othello is a fun game that we might actually have to make an episode about someday after this paper gets peer reviewed, and then we look at smaller board sizes. Maybe I'll see if I can personally prove something about a smaller board size. Like when I did my Connect 4 episode, I had fun thinking myself, without looking it up, I'm sure I could have probably looked this up, but it was fun to think myself of, if it was Connect 3, what would be the strategy for one player to force a win or another? And I found that I could make a simple proof for a first player forcing a win in Connect 3 on a decent-sized board. And so it's fun to look for if you can prove yourself on a miniature size of board for a game. And then you may get a clue about the bigger size. However, sometimes it flip-flops in strange ways. And with the Connect 4, if you see, it's a strange landscape of solutions dependent on board size, that the full patterns are not known. And I might need to get another ice pack in a minute, because these are getting not that cold anymore. And this seriously stings whenever it's not on there. That is going to not be a fun blister. But we've been through worse. Now, let's see how our comments and everything are doing. I lost the comments when I pulled all of this stuff up. So let me get that stuff back. Oh, and let me make sure that there's no audio. We didn't get any crazy weird audio, did we? Somebody said to put toothpaste on the burns. I'll have to look that up. Is that a thing, to put toothpaste on the burns? Because I'm not even sure if I'm doing the right aftermath care. It's not an end of the world burn. I've had ones like this that it's gonna form a bad blister that's probably gonna peel off at some point and be like painful and hard to use this finger for a minute, for like a week or something. I don't know, but it's not gonna be the end of the world. But maybe I should look up if toothpaste or any of your tips are helpful, because all I know is the first step where you run a lot of water on it. So let's look it up just to see if there's any logic behind that. Toothpaste on a burn? Nope. Okay. It looks right here that the first thing apparently says it's a potentially harmful treatment that can worsen the burn. I don't know. Not to say that your treatment is necessarily wrong, but we'll look it up more later. Due to that being the first result, we'll at least pause on it right now. That when I Googled toothpaste on a burn, it said potentially harmful. So we'll pause on that one now, although I do respect any tips or whatever. It's just feeling okay as long as I have it on the ice for now, but I might need to get a fresher ice pack. I have a bunch of ice packs because I have a family member who works at a shop that like ships a bunch of stuff, and they get a bunch of extra like stuff that's about to expire from the shop to eat, and then the stuff is shipped with these ice packs, so they always bring home ice packs. For once, it's going to be useful to have a lot of ice packs. Actually, not for once. It was useful a year ago when I had to get surgeries. Crazy stuff in the combo lore. Now, anyway, thank you all for caring about this, but I'll be okay, although it will make the stream possibly on the shorter end. I might wrap it up after 1 hour, which is coming up relatively soon. And in our last few minutes, if that is the case, let me note that I do have a lot of fun stuff coming for Convo Class. I put out a short, and I put out a few shorts recently, some of which had been on my other channel for a minute, one of which was a new one I put out today for daylight savings, a silly little one. And there's a few more old-ish ones that only a few of you have seen, most of you haven't, that are coming out this week. and then some new ones coming out after that. But the shorts I'm not always going to send to notifications. So, or to subscriptions, because I don't personally like when I see a bunch of shorts in my subscriptions. I'm not as much of a consumer of shorts as much as I do enjoy making them as a challenge. But, so, imagining people like me, I'm not going to clog up your subscription feed with any of the shorts and stuff, unless it's a really important one. And so, or unless I mess up on unclicking the button that it starts out automatically going to go unless I unclick something. Then I assume that the people who want to see the shorts will get them if they're on the shorts tab. And if you want to make sure you see all my shorts, then you can comment and like whichever ones you see on the shorts page, and then you'll see the rest of them will come up too. You can also just go to that tab on my channel once a week if you're curious if there's new ones. Also remember that there's billions of, not literally, but literally hundreds of hours of content on the live tab here of me just talking about old things like games and graphs and nature and testing out weird fruits and cutting up pumpkins and stuff. And if those of you were wondering if I was going to do anything Halloween-like, I did some pre-Halloween pumpkin carving, but if I had anything left over of all those jack-o'-lanterns I carved or other ones I mentioned I might carve, well, the next main combo class episode, when part of the episode takes place in the darkness, there are some jack-o'-lanterns involved in the fire aspects. So that will be very fun. Check the combo class channel, or just make sure you have the notifications for that one, that in a day or two, I'll have another full, 20-minute-ish, I don't know, somewhere from 15 to 25-minute episode that is about opposites and inverses. And in general, it begins with a long philosophical portion, and it also has some experimental moments where some of the takes took a long time to set up, and I had to really prep for them, and then some of the takes are 2 minutes or so of one thing. Sometimes I do that in the episodes where, sometimes it's fun to jump a couple little cuts on different scenes. Sometimes it's fun to deliver something for 2 minutes in a row. But I especially like when I can plan those 2 minutes or so, when there's props to wander over to, and I plan it with my camera guy Carlo for which things we show at what time of the shot. And so there's a couple long interesting shots in that one. It starts out and ends a bit philosophically with enough math stuff in the middle. So thank you to everybody who's joining me. Somebody says they're a new subscriber, and welcome to the new Combo Lord, and welcome to everybody here. In general, remember, if you want to chat more with combo people, there is a Discord where people chat. There's a subreddit. I'm going to try and post on those and check those more throughout this month, but there are already combo lords chatting those places. Those are linked in the description. There's also a Patreon for people who are super helpful with wanting me to be able to make each grade cooler than the last, because we are, a little more than halfway through grade -2, and I think we are making much better episodes than we were a year ago, and 2 years ago this show didn't even exist. So we're doing great things for a channel that's not even 2 years old. Neither of the channels, this one or the combo class one, is 2 years old. They're both about a year to a year and a half old, and that means we are doing awesome. This channel is inching toward 200,000 subscribers. I'm most proud when the combo class channel inches up, but luckily those new episodes have been hitting. The next one, I don't know if I'm going to have as clickable of a title or thumbnail for my opposites and inverses one, so we'll see how that does, but it'll be a fun episode, so we'll see. Anyway, I love you all. I'll be back for some more live streams when it's daytime out again in a day or two. Catch some more of the daytime plants and animals, and of course other mathematical things, tricks up my sleeve and such, and other fun facts to share. And yes, I will be back with more bonus videos and shorts. Like I've been saying, I've gone back on the short path quite recently. And sometimes there won't be shorts for a few months if I'm not as interested, because those are a side thing to me compared to making full horizontal videos, but which are on the Combo Class channel. But the shorts are fun, and I am getting back into liking to do those on the side. It's even motivational to, many days be like, well, let's try and film one today. In addition to all the other stuff, let's film one different vertical short thing. So, we will have more of those, and we will have more of all sorts of fun things. I've been working on a lot of writing and music and stuff as well, so a lot of rare things to show you in the future. Now, love you all. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm going to wrap it up here and get a slightly fresher ice pack. I'll show you folks in the next stream to what degree this may form a blister. It does sting whenever it's off the ice pack, so I know it's going to be at least a bit bad tomorrow, but we will see. It's not going to be too awful. So, thank you all. Love you.